Live with Michael Savage. Welcome to the Friday wrap up. Got a lot to talk about in a very short period of time. It is Friday. Most people are not listening to YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or X at this time. But I thought I'd wrap the week up because the news is so incredible what went on today. And it's very positive, by the way. Today is one of the best days in a long time, mainly because Trump sent Zelensky home with his D in his hand, which, of course, in that one move, he came here, he thought he was going to get Tomahawk missiles. He went home with his D in his hand, saves lives in the MAGA movement with one smart move, because the entire MAGA movement is against expanding the war, period, end of story. Trump ran on an anti-war platform, okay, period. Nobody wants bloodshed. Trump doesn't want bloodshed. Now, we are not dismissing Putin's invasion, but we want it to end. Trump wants it to end. He wants it to be frozen in place. So he got Zelensky here on the pretext that he was going to give him Tomahawk missiles. They had the big meeting today, and Trump sat there and said this and said that. Then he said, perhaps the president wants to speak. And all of a sudden, the comedian, they gave him a new jacket from Filene's basement in Krakow. They found one that fit. No tie yet, but they moved him up to an old jacket from 1973. It looked good on him. Trump even said the jacket looked good on him. They were happy that the guy had a new jacket and everything else with all the money, hundreds of billions of dollars. You think you buy him a suit. It's not about his suit. It's about people are dying because the war should have ended a long time ago. Again, we're not taking the side of Russia. Peace is patriotic. Trump wants it to end. So he gets Zelensky here on the hope that he'd go home with a package of Tomahawk missiles, which cost $2 million a piece, number one, which we are in short supply of, number two, which cannot be operated by Ukrainians, number three. They can only be fired by Americans, number four, either by an airplane like a B-2 bomber or a B-52, or from some would lead to World War III. So somebody finally got to Trump, or maybe he knew this all along, I don't know, and they said, you can't give him the missiles. So Zelensky goes home with nothing. I don't even know if he got a brisket. I don't know if he got a pickle. I don't know if he got a lunch. I don't know what he got. It's not a good day for him because they have to end this killing. The killing fields must come to an end. And then we have other news out there. I was reading today that the human brain has a theoretical storage capacity of approximately 2.5 million gigabytes or 2.5 petabytes. I didn't know about petabytes. I knew about gigabytes because I bought a new computer the other day, which I would install to stop the skipping and jumping, which has been going on this YouTube channel. I figured a new computer with a 64 gigabyte capacity would be better than the one I'm using. We're going to try. It'll be installed on Sunday. So the human brain has a theoretical capacity of approximately 2.5 million gigabytes. So what is that? That is roughly equivalent to 3 million hours of TV shows if the brain worked like a digital video recorder. So where am I going with this? Well, let's start with Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. She actually argued for race-based redistricting, citing the Americans with Disabilities Act, saying that Black people are fundamentally like disabled people. She said they're like disabled people, she said of minority voters in the state. Now, aside from the fact that if a white representative or justice said the same thing, there'd be screaming and yelling from the protest industrial complex for the next 6 years. But beyond that, we all know that Ketanji Brown Jackson is perhaps the least literate Supreme Court justice in recent history. There were far more qualified, even liberal African women justices than this. Her arguments are hackneyed and barely readable. A first-year law student of 10 or 20 years ago would have done better than this twisted illogical finding that, Black people are like the disabled in the ADA. Okay. Now, there's another story related to the human brain with theoretical storage capacity that is very low. As I said to you, the human brain has a great theoretical storage capacity of approximately 2.5 million gigabytes, equivalent to 3 million hours of TV shows if the brain worked like a digital video recorder. That would be if it did. I would say Ketanji Brown's brain is on a level of perhaps 300 hours of capacity in TV shows. Now we go to another genius out there by the name of Don Lemon. Don was a lemon, not lemonade, and to his chagrin, he learned too late that even liberals need a grin. So here's a low IQ guy who told people to go out and get guns. Don Lemon. Here's a low IQ guy who would say has maybe 30 hours of TVs in brain capacity, not 2.5 million or 3 million or 300. I would say he's always like maybe 300 hours, maybe maximum, maybe 30 hours of television shows if his brain worked like a digital video recorder. And here's a guy who was given the job because he was, as you know, a minority, low IQ. He got the break of his life and he blew it owing to his shallowness and his nice guy persona. And that's all that kept him on the air. Nice looking guy, and he was a nice guy, kind of stupid. Everyone knew not to listen to him for any quality, any reasons of any intelligence. So now that they dumped him from CNN, his meanness is coming out. And you could see that there's a side to him that was just under the surface. And that's why I was talking about the human brain with its theoretical storage capacity of 2.5 million gigabytes. I like that discovery that I found today in having research to buy a computer. So those are the main stories today, and there's not much more that I want to talk about. I don't have to stay on for 50 hours. I gave you 6 great minutes just now. I think that's good enough for the night. Let's see, are we on that? Well, sure. Trump sends Zelensky home with nothing but his D in his hand. Very smart of Trump. Did he plan this all along? Of course. Of course he did. He sent them home with his Hendrick in his hand, saving lives, and the MAGA movement with one smart move. Again, not taking the side of Putin, saying the war should come to an end. I think what Trump wants here is to fix Crystal Baker, just as we would have done with Cuba. I mean, could you imagine if you have to see it from another perspective? We're looking at it from the wrong point of view. Most of you have been brainwashed to think that Putin wants to take over Europe. He's found out he can't even take over. He's not going to try and take over Europe. Use common sense, use logic. Engage in such a horrible war that cost over 1 million lives on both sides. Well, there's a lot of reasons. John McCain, Victoria Nuland. We all know the history there. Why does he persist in taking eastern Ukraine, cutting it off not as far as the Dnieper River, but close to it, carving that out as part of Russia or a neutral zone? Because if Cuba, remember when Cuba tried to put missiles in under Kennedy? What did Kennedy do? Do you remember what happened? We wouldn't have accepted missiles from Russia in Cuba. Why do you think that a world power, a thermonuclear power like Russia, will accept missiles on the shore, on the border rather, of their nation in Ukraine? That's what he's doing. He's trying to defend his national security. I know you don't want to hear it. You want to make him the villain and the evil one. That's all you want to hear. That's the whole narrative, and that's the end of the story. But I'm trying to tell you. Okay, last few videos are breaking up a lot. Is this breaking up? Breaking up a little, not awful, though. Video quality is up and down. See, here we go again. Well, you have good news and bad news. Last night, I tested my old studio in another studio, and it was perfect, flawless. Today, we're breaking up again. I found that it's YouTube doing it. YouTube has a very special code for computers or whatever, and it creates a lot of problems. So I have a computer genius coming Friday who's putting in a 64 gigabyte computer for me, and I'm probably not going to live broadcast on YouTube anymore. I'm going to do live on X and live on Facebook only, and then we'll post it on YouTube because we think it's YouTube doing it. But I'm getting, bought a new computer, and that's the end of it. And I believe in great equipment. I believe in upgrading. I really do. And you want to hear the irony of me buying the new computer? It's not that it's old computer. I have a really great, in here, I spent a fortune on this one. They get old very fast. It's in the box, the new computer, the 64 gig computer. And I live in a small cottage. And I inadvertently left the box with the new computer in the small hallway in my house. I paid no attention because I know the guy's coming Sunday to put it in. The other night, I got up from bed. I wanted to have one little bottle of water before I went to bed. I walked into the kitchen, and I came back, and my left foot caught on the box. I hit the floor. I hit the floor like if you dropped a rock like this. That's how I hit the floor. Now, remember, I'm getting over a knee injury. I was getting off my bike 4 weeks ago, and the bike store put the bike back together with the seat 4 inches higher than normal. I paid no attention to the seat, and I put my foot up to get off, and my foot caught the seat, and boom, and I hit the floor, and I ripped my adductor muscle and my hamstring, and I was agony for 3 or 4 weeks. Just as I'm getting healed through my own natural means and arnica and red light therapy on the knee. I mean, I don't want to go into all the therapies I've been using. Arnica, red light therapy, all sorts of good things, all alternative medicine. I don't want to take pain pills. And I'm getting better. And I didn't break any bones. Think about that. A lot of old people, when they fall, it's usually the end of the road because they break a hip or they break bones. My bones, thank God, are good. And I don't even eat dairy. I'm dairy free. I probably get it from the nuts I eat and from the hummus. I eat a lot of hummus and a lot of nuts. I maybe one piece of cheese once in a while. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, ironically, I'm getting better using natural therapies, no drugs, and I fall on the very same knee that's almost healed. It hurts so badly. I'm on the floor in the middle of the night. It's dark. I said to myself, or however you want to put it, get off the goddamn floor. That's all I could think of. Nothing else. There was no one around. Get off the floor. Get off the floor. I grabbed the nut on the door and pulled myself up with my hands because I knew if I stayed on the floor, it would have been a bad scene. Got up, immediately I put arnica on it, and I just took an aspirin and I went to bed. And what I'm trying to say to you is, why did this happen again? Tripping again on the same leg? I don't know why. Maybe accidents happen. But I learned a few things. I learned that you have to be vigilant every second of your life, because with one mistake, you can ruin, whether that's physical, mental, moral, or anything. Sometimes you only get one mistake. One. Life requires eternal vigilance. You have to be like an animal on the plains, not wanting to be eaten by a wolf. Always got to watch all the time. Lock the doors, load your guns, etc. That kind of thing. Vigilant, vigilant, vigilant. Can't relax for a second. And I also learned that you cannot control for everything that's going to happen to you. It's that simple. Accidents are going to happen and things are going to happen, and you got to roll with the punches. So I learned that I didn't break any bones, and I didn't want to be on the floor. And I got up, and 2 days later, it's gone. Arnica, ice, boom, gone. So there we are. Stop with the don't take the Lord's name in vain. Who are these people at this time of night? Stop lecturing me about God, would you please? You know, here's the thing I don't like about religious freaks. What is your business what the other man's religion is? If you're so religious, shouldn't you pay attention to religion and follow your own tenets instead of worrying about the next man's religion? This is the problem with busybodies who use religion as a weapon. I don't like it. What do you care if a person is Jewish, Buddhist, or Hindu, or Muslim, as long as they don't bother you, and as long as they practice the eternal truth of do unto others as you would have them do unto you? Just stop telling people what to do, okay? If you don't like people's conversation, then leave them. Stop lecturing people. It's why people have turned off from churches and religion. It's the preachiness, okay? And that's all I have to say. That's my Friday night sermon. I was very happy to learn that I first I was going to buy a 32 gigabyte computer. And it was like in Best Buy, it was something like $865 to upgrade. And because I don't know what my computer is now. It's like a thing with a weird face on it. It's a very expensive computer. I don't know what the storage capacity is. I don't think it's the computer. It could be the internet. I was told by this computer genius, he's an AI genius, is coming out to put it in. He said it's YouTube doing it, the glitching. I said, why? Because he said they have very specific kind of coding. He does coding, coding at YouTube. That's very difficult, can throw computers into glitches. That's what he said to me. So, you learn. I love to learn. I love to buy new equipment, and I love to watch the world go around. I like to comment on the world. Here are the tweets I had tonight on X. Let's see. Where did I start today? Okay. Should Trump give Zelensky Tomahawk missiles to attack Moscow? That was 9 hours ago. The answer is, of course not. Then I wrote, Zelensky arrives dressed like a bum, begging for weapons to create more death and destruction. The Ukrainian preserve elections and a leader of dignity. No, not this deranged, vulgar comedian piece is patriotic. Then I tweeted, left-wing warmongers scream about no kings while propping up a would-be petty dick king. That would be Zelensky. You know, they're screaming tomorrow, no kings, and they want the Zelensky to stay in power where there's no elections. You hear this? Could you believe this? What else did I do today? Today, watch Savage on Newsmax TV with Rob Schmidt. I was just on. I did a great job. Then I found this out late in the day, 5 hours ago. Communist Workers of America Union joins Soros to fund the No Kings riots tomorrow. Can you believe this? Soros is in bed with the Communist Workers of America Union to riot across America tomorrow with this No Kings bullshit. That's what you're going to see in hundreds and hundreds of locations. They're not native, natural, grassroots protests you're going to watch tomorrow. You're going to watch the protest industry industrial complex at work tomorrow. The protest industry industrial complex on overpasses, banging pots. You'll see all the gray-haired potheads from Marin County who haven't been as hot since the Vietnam War. They're back together. They get paid for this. If you had any idea, so I say that the protest industry industrial complex can and should be broken up under RICO. Fundraising machine is in high gear ahead of the No Kings Day protests. Now, let me be very clear. I'm 100% in favor of the right to redress grievances. I'm a constitutionalist. However, when they start crossing the line and breaking things and attacking police, they're criminals. They should be arrested. I don't mean arrest. You take some of these hippie bastards and you throw them in a hard prison for 30 days. They're not going to do this very often. And I think it's time to crack down on this Democrat fundraising machine in high gear ahead of the No Kings Day. That's my opinion. So those are the state. And I think it's been very nice to be with you. And what do I have coming up this weekend? Let's see. Sunday, my TV show on Newsmax TV. I loved last week's TV show, which basically was, some people said they wrote online, they said they had tears in their eyes from the whole movies, from me and my father and me as a young man. It was really hard to believe. And one guy wrote, I got to read this, then I'm going to go. It was astounding what he wrote. He's a regular listener, real supporter. He's up in the Bronx somewhere, I think on Arthur Avenue. I don't know if he's listening to me right now. It was very touching. Oh, the Zoran thing in New York. I watched the debate last night live. And I said, Sliwa is winning the debate. He neutralized Cuomo. The Islamist snake's grin is nauseating to grown men. I liked Sliwa. I thought he's smart and he knows what he's doing. However, every poll says he can't win. I do not like Cuomo. I think he's a machine, corrupt politician. He's the only one who has a chance to beat this communist Islamist who will be a disaster for America. So earlier, we saw Nancy Pelosi snapping at a reporter, being led away by two bodyguards. She could hardly walk. Her wig is falling off from behind. Doesn't she know it's time to quit? You know, when you see an old person with a wig that's falling off from behind, and you got people holding your hands on both sides, it's sad. And now she snaps, and they snap when they get old, and they start snapping at reporters. They're losing it. She's not good for them anymore. You won't be seeing much of Nancy much anymore. The machine will stop her. And the other topper is the green velveteen suit. If she's reaching into the closet for green velveteen outfits at this stage of her life, when she can afford great stuff from all the money she's grifted from insider trading and whatnot, if she's already going to the pantsuits, forget about it. With the wig for and the bug eye glasses and the pointing, no, done. Let's see, what else did I do? Immigrants, this was big. Immigrants robbing us of our border and culture. That was a short. That got a lot of hit. What else did I do that should be? Ban Kratom now. That's a good one. You don't even know what it's a synthetic Kratom. It's like heroin sold in gas stations. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I enjoy observing the world go around, and I enjoy commenting for you. I don't expect to find new listeners who are going to make me a new phenomenon in the country. I'm not struggling for that. I am here to talk to my lifetime of listeners who have followed me since 1972 in my days of writing health books. And I can't find the gentleman from, here it is. I know where it is. I did a show yesterday from my old studio. Listen, testing my old radio studio with sound effects. It's the one with the wheels behind me and the sailboat. So listen to what someone wrote. You made a grown man cry going down memory lane. Wow, this got me. That's from Paulie Cigars Di Silvio. Great fan of mine up in New York. I never met the guy, but he's in the Italian district. La Casa Grande Cigars and the star of Lighten Up Friday Cigar Show. Paulie, I don't smoke, but for you, I'd come around to, I don't know. I have some food with you up there. So here's what I wrote, Paulie. I said, time waits for no man, a short dance in the sun. After many a summer dies the swan. I played all my old sound effects, the sheep sound. You know, it was beautiful. It was very beautiful from KSFO days. So, my friends, it's Friday and I got to go. Why I got to go? Because I got to go. That's all. You got to go. I got to go. What's the point of sitting here and just rapping? Still breaking up more? Billy, are you there? Hello, Billy. Billy's listening in on the other side. Billy, are you there? You can hear me online. Billy, text me if I'm still breaking up. Indian food will be all delivered by, someone ordered Indian food. Okay, great. I'm not having Indian food tonight. I could do without ptomaine poisoning. I don't know. I'm losing my appetite altogether. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad. I don't even want to eat much. I had enough. I don't want to do any cooking videos anymore. Would you believe it? You remember the other night I did a cooking video? I got fed up with my own cooking. I don't want to cook anymore. Would you believe it? I don't want to cook. I'm sick of it. Either I'm going to get takeout sent in by Uber Eats, or I'm going to go to a restaurant and listen to boring people. I am tired of cooking my own food. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just on strike. I remember my mother reached a point where she didn't want to cook for the family anymore. She said, I've done it all my life, cooking 3 meals a day for 3 people. It's enough. And she cracked down after a lifetime of home-cooked meals, my poor mother, and she started to buy, in the last days that the kids were still in the house, she bought frozen meals like a chicken pot pie, and she put it out for us. There was no microwaves in those days. She heated it up in a little oven in the house. It was horrible. It was contemptible, like Swanson chicken pot pie. After eating home-cooked food your whole life from a mama who was home all the time, you took like, ugh. Said, Mom, sorry, I don't like it. I like your cooking better. She said, I'm not doing it anymore. 3 meals a day for 3 people is enough for me. So, I mean, 1 meal a day for 1 person. I don't want to cook. I realized why my cooking videos are my rapping videos. I'll tell you what. Hold on. What's he saying now? Breaking up a little more. Now he says better. Okay. I'll tell you why. Because you like when I cook, when I'm in the kitchen. It's very personal. You think you're there with me, like your family. It's a guy with the apron that got the pots and the pans, and he's talking to you and he's cooking and he's rapping on the world. He's drinking his wine and he's really letting it all hang out. And you feel like you're there with me. I understand that. It's very personal, the kitchen. But I don't want to do it anymore. Maybe I'll feel differently next week. I'm fed up with it. First of all, there's a still small voice going on in my head that I got to tell you about. You know, I've been very honest with you, as much as you can be in the media. You know, this is not a confessional. You're not a priest, and I'm not a guy in a church where I have to tell you every little detail of my life, but it's as close to a confessional as you're going to get. I have a still small voice saying to me when I do the cooking videos, I hear like the wisdom part of me saying to me, why do you want to make a jerk of yourself tonight? Why do you have to perform? What do you have to make a joke out of yourself? You're such an intelligent guy. You've written 29 books. You've got a career. You've proven yourself. What are you trying to prove after all of these years that you got to get up there with a frying pan and an apron and make an ass of yourself? I swear to God, that maybe I'm depressed. I don't know. Maybe I'm depressed. Maybe this is called depression. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't want to do cooking videos anymore. And I'll be very honest with you, a little more honest if I can. I'm probably going to leave the media altogether very soon. I hear it coming. I can feel it like a distant voice coming down the highway. It's like enough is enough. You made your point. You established your reputation. You're not competing with young people who are doing great jobs in the media or with old people. You're not in competition anymore. You're not doing this for the money. So what are you doing it for? To show that you're a wise guy? What do you need that for? What do you need that for? I'm starting to think like that. Maybe I'm right, That's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm right. I will continue to probably tweet until my fingers don't work. But as far as these live broadcasts, I don't think I want to do them anymore. And I'll tell you another thing. If you're listening to me very closely, remember I said to you the other day, I think it was yesterday, at the end of my old-time radio broadcast, this one here, where is here? Advice to President Trump, that's a good one. No, testing my old radio studio with sound effects. I did that yesterday morning at an old radio studio with an old microphone, this microphone, because it's a fully soundproof studio. It's the one with the wheels behind me. Look it up on it's October 16th on X, testing my old radio studio with sound effects. Everyone loved it. And at the end of it, I said to you that Donald Trump's been a mentor of mine long before he became president. And I learned from him about forging ahead, going forward, not quitting, and being innovative. He was an inspiration to me long before he was in politics. And then I said to you, because the press has openly campaigned or lobbied for a Nobel Peace Prize, and he is my mentor, I'm going to lobby for a Presidential Medal of Freedom. And I was going to do a whole show on this, saying Presidential Medal of Freedom, I earned it, but won't get it, and here's why. I decided I'm not going to do it, and I'll tell you why. Again, a voice in me is saying this. You're not going to get it from Trump, at least not this year. You might get one in a year or two, maybe, after his things have settled down and, you're back in the in crowd, which is not happening because this crowd around them now will be gone. Many of them will be gone in a year. I know how this works. They all think that they think they're like Bolton right now. They think that he's not going to fire them. They all think the same way. Every administration, it's not just true for him, it's true for all presidents. He gets rid of them after a while because he knows he can't trust them. The Praetorian Guard, they'll be gone. And when they're gone, the few friends I have in high places, the president again, and I'll lobby him at that time for the Presidential Medal of Freedom based upon that I actually earned it. And I looked it up. I got to read this to you. The Presidential Medal of Freedom is the highest civilian award of the United States, along with the Congressional Gold Medal. Decision on the President of the United States that, quote, any person recommended to the president for award of the medal or any person selected by the president upon his own initiative. And it was created to recognize people who have made, quote, an especially meritorious contribution to one of the three following areas. One, the security or national interest of the United States, or world peace, or three, cultural or other significant public or private endeavors. Now, I have not added to the number one or the number two, but I absolutely should get the prize for number three. And I'll tell you why. I deserve the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Mr. Trump. And I'm inspired by your lobbying for the Nobel Prize, Mr. Trump, to campaign on behalf of myself, pioneering efforts and contributions of 30 books in the MAGA, MAHA, and MASA movements, most notably my bringing an awareness to the nation and the world that a nation is defined by its borders, language, and culture, that there is always the danger of the enemy within, that liberalism is a mental disorder. As a pioneer in the MAHA movement, through my many health books, notably Earth Medicine, Feeding Children Well, Reducing the Risk of Alzheimer's, and in my teachings about God, through my great book, God, Faith, and Reason, as well as my weekly God Talks, MASA, Make American Spiritual Again. Also, as a scientist for Michael's contributions to world medical research through his ethno-medical botanical collections, being studied in herbariums in New York, Boston, Chicago, Honolulu, London, Paris, and Moscow. Michael created a master plan for regreening America in 1975, which resulted in Plant the Tree, a working guide to regreening America, and gained him the title, the Johnny Appleseed of his generation. He documented the ethnobotanical knowledge of numerous tribal societies in the South Pacific, including the islands of Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, and the Marquesas Island. Savage was one of the early pioneers in ethnobotanical research, earning a doctorate in this rare field in 1978 from the University of California. His rare medical plant specimens are included in renowned herbaria worldwide, such as the New York Botanical Garden, the Bishop Museum in Honolulu, Kew Gardens in London, the Maine Botanical Garden, Russian Academy of Sciences. Before his doctoral studies, Savage obtained both MS and MA degrees in anthropology and botany. Why does that matter to the world? Long after we are all gone, these collections will be in museums for further study, and we may see cures that we can't even imagine from these folk medical collections that I have made that are in these herbaria around the world. In recognition of his prolific work, the United Nations first published The Secrets of Fijian Medicine in 1980. His efforts in Native American tribal folk medicine were documented in his book, Earth Medicine, 1972, which would be translated into multiple languages, bringing international acclaim. He was presented the Best Science Book Award for Children in 1975 for Man's Useful Plants. And here's my wrap-up. In conjunction with his activity, Savage has been a generous donor to veterans, police organizations, animal and wildlife charities. Savage has regularly contributed towards wounded or fallen police officers and the legal defense of Marines and service members. In November 2014, Savage helped reunite a wounded soldier with his canine partner, as well as donating money to purchase an SUV. Savage established a conservative scholarship fund in 2015 to promote traditional American values. 5 winners were chosen from over 2,000 applicants, each receiving $20,000. In 2016, radio listeners nationwide selected Savage over a number of high-profile contenders to be inducted into the National Radio Hall of Fame. So that's the overall view. And now I'm not going to read these to you, but I'm going to show these to you. And then I'm going to conclude. These are lists of Michael's published works right here, the books. That's one. That's the second. This is the first. I've worked very hard, and I'm tired. I don't want to work anymore. I was inspired by JFK when he said, I was a young kid at the time, 22, 23. JFK said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. When John F. Kennedy said that, I felt like a steel go through my spine. I wanted to do good for this country. That's how important the president is in inspiring future generations. Kennedy inspired me, and I feel that I've done a lot for this country because Kennedy inspired me to do so. In area number 3, President Trump, cultural or other significant public or private endeavors, I hope you will consider me in your selection for this great medal of freedom. I earned it. Thank you very much for listening. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for all these years. I know it's sounding like kind of final because I don't know when I'm going to call it quits. I'm close. I remember someone telling me about, it was 2019 or so, after I almost said heart, after I had an incident. You don't call it a heart, you say I had an incident. You say an event, you had an event, a medical event. After I had the event, somebody said to me, who I greatly respect, said to me, you'll know when it's time to disappear from the world. I am very close to leaving. What will I do with my time? I don't really know. I'll probably devote it all to spiritual or religious entities. I created the Healing Wheel Society, which I had to stop shortly after creating it in January. I may devote all of my time only to spiritual matters. That's all I may do. Again, you don't have to like the other man's religion. Like your own religion and leave the other guy alone. If he wants to pray on his hands and knees, let him pray on his hands and knees. If he wants to pray with his back to a tree, let him pray with his back to a tree. If he wants to pray with a yarmulke on in front of a Torah, leave him alone. Stop putting him down, Candace. Leave these people alone. What is your goddamn business what religion a person practices, you bigoted bastards, you? I have never seen a time in America where there's such meanness coming not only from the left, but from the right itself, aimed at Jewish people who aren't bothering a soul. Don't tell me you don't hate Jews. You just don't like the government of Israel. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I've heard that before. Back in the 60s, there was a joke that went around. Some of my best friends are black. That was a joke about people who say, I don't hate black people. I just don't like that one. Oh, really? Some of my best friends are black, huh? That's the same thing as these losers picking on Jews because they're easy targets because they don't fight back. Why don't you open your big mouth against Muslims and see what happens? You won't do that because you know you're liable to get knocked off. The Jews will leave you alone. And if the Mossad was so ever present, you would have been dead already. You lying idiot, you. And so when I said to you at the beginning of tonight about some people who 3 million hours of TV show, have a nice night. And if you like what you see and you see what you like, then you like Mike and go on YouTube and you hit the thing, whatever. I don't know. You subscribe and you got to hit a bell. Does it matter? Don't you understand I'm a spiritual guy at this phase in my life? It doesn't matter. What would it matter to me, let's say, if tomorrow some magic happened and they said, God, your podcast is the greatest. We found it has 500 episodes. We want to buy it from you for $100 million. We want to make sure it lasts for it. Now, tell me what that would do for me. It'd be one headline for one fleeting moment on a few sites, and that would be the end of it. What would I do with the money? You think I'm a Kardashian? You think I need to fly in a private jet and sit with my feet propped up? What is wrong with you people? I don't want to go on a cruise. I've been on cruises collecting plants. I've flown in private jets. The family owned one for a number of years. I prefer commercial. My preference is to fly, by the way, with JetBlue over any private jet. To be honest with you, I don't like the confinement of a private jet. Would you believe this? I don't feel safe in a private jet. I feel safer on a JetBlue and nice seats up front. It's the only thing I don't like about JetBlue is it's one bathroom. That's a limiting factor. True. Private jet, at least you have your own bathroom. If the jet has two bathrooms, you have to get a Gulfstream or up to get a double. Most of them have only one bathroom, which you still have to share it with the crew. You get a 6'5" pilot who's been flying for 8 hours. Believe me, it's not pleasant when you're sleeping on a sofa in the back. The guy, So what I'm saying, unless you get a plane, what's the good of it? The Gulfstreams all had two bathrooms. But opening is if you charter a Gulfstream, be very careful. You ask about the fact if the front bathroom is available to you, if both of them available to the crew only. If they say no, they're using it for storage, you're only getting one bathroom, like you would, let's say, on a Challenger 300. Just a little side note. Okay, folks, thanks very much. Before I go, I'm not ready. It's Friday night. I want to ask a question. I did this last week. I really enjoyed it. Billy, by the way, cut out the piece I just did on the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I earned it, but won't get it anyway. Make that a separate, Billy. I'm going to put that up on all the channels on its own. I know the sound is glitching. I've been on too long. Breaking up a bit again. Okay, then it's time to go. It's time to go. Now I got to think about dinner again. I promise you one thing, I'm not cooking tonight. I don't even have a taste for drinking. I mean, something's really wrong with me after that fall. I don't want to drink. I don't want to eat. Would you believe it? That's a weird thing. I have no appetite. Maybe when I felt something shook up my hunger gene, or my hunger. There must be something in the brain that got jiggled when I hit the floor that says don't eat and drink anymore much. You may see me next very month. I may appear gaunt. Old people get gaunt. A lot of old guys, like they get gaunt. What's that from? I don't know whether they eat like cans of soup. That's all they eat. I still have a lust for life. And I'm a very, very passionate personality. I am filled with energy. I don't have to get into details, but yes, here, there, everywhere. I'm full of energy. I'm like a 40-year-old here, there, and everywhere. And I'm full of life. But I also know something. This could change in the blink of an eye. There's a saying that Ezra the Jewish fisherman, said in that movie, that scene did. How are they biting tonight, Ezra? Biting the fetter. But remember this, it's good to have faith. And believe me, one fall, One blink of an eye, your car goes into a tree like Alec Baldwin with the tree. Get that crap with a garbage truck. Did you see that one? I didn't see a garbage truck. Where'd the garbage truck come from? Shows you the Range Rover, the new one's a good car. It's almost 8,000 pounds. They make a good car. I have a 2005 Range Rover, which I won't sell, like a tank. A tank. Solid like a rock. It has a Jaguar V8 engine in it, this old Rover. I couldn't believe it. They were using Jaguar engines in the old Rovers. And I love this old car because I have ding neurosis in parking lots. If I get a new car and I go to a parking lot, the whole time I'm in the lot doing something, I'm thinking someone's dinging my door. So I'd rather have a 2005 Range Rover with high running boards because the doors can't hit the car. You know what I'm saying? It's really interesting. I don't worry about dings with the car. It's interesting. But if I take a new car, like I have a Corvette that's a few years old, I never take it anywhere. It sits in the garage. I look at it. I don't even like driving it. It's too low. I'm thinking like creep into the thing. No, I do love that car. It's a beautiful man and machine on a beautiful sunny day. No one's out early in the morning on the road. It's nice. I got rid of my Jaguars. If you go on YouTube, you can find my old YouTubes, Michael Savage and his blue XK, Michael Savage's XK 150 with Teddy was still alive. It was beautiful. God, I miss my dog. Okay, folks, enough with the nostalgia. I appreciate it very much. Arthur Avenue, I really would like East Coast Italian food. I'm not saying that West Coast food is not good. It's changed. It used to be pretty marginal. But I'm an old red sauce guy. I grew up in New York. I like heavy sauce. I don't eat a lot of cream or dairy. I don't want anything with cream in it. First of all, I don't want the cream because I don't eat saturated fats, number one. But number two, I don't like the taste of cream. I've weaned myself off it. I can't stand dairy. I also have a dairy allergy, blah, blah, blah. But I can't stand food with the cream in it. To me, a sauce should be like a country peasant Sicilian sauce with no cream, no dairy, no butter. You're talking about great olive oil, okay, great tomatoes, and few ingredients. That's a sauce. That I can make tonight. Now I'm talking myself into with scallops. Maybe I'll make dinner tonight. Maybe I'll just do it. I don't know. The thought of going to a restaurant right now, I don't know. It's Friday night. I got stuff to do this weekend. I got an appointment tomorrow morning somewhere. I'm not going to tell you about it. I got to go. I got the guy coming, the AI genius to put in my new computers, the 64 gigabyte computer. Then my TV show's at 5 o'clock. Then I may take the gigabyte guy to dinner because a nice young kid. There's things, you plan them, you set up little things. Each day you make one little thing to do. You get it? Yeah. Got to tell you something else, but I can always keep telling you stuff. That's what life is. Life is this. It's like waves. The purpose of conversation is to converse. The purpose of conversation is to keep the conversation going. The word conversation has a key word in it called verse, with verse. So my friends, I hope you've enjoyed my verse tonight. And it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much. With God's